I'm gonna say geek. I'm a geek. I'm a geek at heart. Every day I come in, I'm happy, I'm excited, I'm thrilled. The people here are so wonderful.
What Dr. Jen Arnold has been through is crazy. Jen may look like she has a great life because she is a skilled neonatologist, a loyal wife, and a loving mother. But behind the cameras and her friendly smile is a story of strength, hardship, and success that most people don't know about. As a baby, Jen had health problems that could have killed her. Almost every medical school she applied to turned her down. Jen earned everything she has by working hard. Don't miss the truth about Dr. Jen Arnold. Spondyloepiphyseal dysplasia, SED, is a rare form of dwarfism that Dr. Jen Arnold had. It is a genetic disorder that makes it hard for bones to grow and form normally. From the time she was born, her situation caused serious health problems, starting with breathing problems. When Jen talked to the Tampa Bay Times, she said that she came out having a hard time breathing and was taken right away to the neonatal urgent care unit at All Children's. This is a very big problem for any newborn having trouble breathing. For Jen, it was the start of a lifelong fight with health problems. Jen had to have several surgeries as a child because of her illness. She had one of the most important surgeries when she was very young. It was a fusion of the cervical spine. Without this surgery, she might have been paralyzed from the neck down after a simple fall. Well-known doctors, Dr. Stephen Kopitz, and surprisingly, Dr. Ben Carson did this delicate surgery. Dr. Carson would later become a famous neurosurgeon and public figure in his own right. Jen's health problems didn't end there. Over the years, she has had an amazing 35 surgeries. Her quality of life and ability to move around were both improved by each one. Jen never let her condition define her, even though she had to go to the hospital a lot and was in a lot of pain while she was recovering. Instead, she used her problems to drive her to become a doctor and help others who were going through the same things. Jen Arnold, who was born in St. Petersburg, Florida, had a lot of problems and wanted to work in child medicine, especially neonatology. Because she was in a newborn intensive care unit, NICU herself, it makes sense that she now works to save the lives of babies who were born too early or are very sick. Many people admire her job in medicine, and she has used her fame to speak out for kids with special needs, raising awareness and encouraging acceptance. Jen has also fought and won a fight with cancer, in addition to her medical achievements. She was identified with a rare form of cholecystitis in 2013. This is a type of cancer that can happen after losing a pregnancy. As is her nature, she faced this task with unwavering strength. She went through chemotherapy treatments while still doing her job as a doctor, wife, and mother. Thankfully, after months of hard treatment, she was found to not have cancer. This was another win in her long list of successes. Jen had the best of both worlds as a child. She spent her childhood going to sunny beaches and having wonderful adventures at Disney World. She and her family went to Central Florida, which is in the middle of the world's theme park capital. While Jen was moving, she got a great perk. Her mother had worked at Disney for 30 years, which was pretty amazing. For many kids, this was like getting a golden ticket to have fun in Orlando for a long time. Jen told the Tampa Bay Times, "I could go to Disney whenever I wanted." In other words, she could go anywhere in Disney, from Cinderella's castle to the thrilling rock and roller coaster starring Aerosmith. It must have been a dream come true to grow up in one of the world's most famous theme parks with that much freedom. Jen loved Disney and all the fun things that Orlando had to offer, but her heart still belonged to St. Petersburg, where she was born. She has happy memories of spending as much time as possible there. Jen spent her summers in St. Pete Beach, the coastal town where her aunt and uncle lived, as much as possible. She would come to St. Pete every chance she got. Her aunt and uncle had raised her there, so she had a strong bond with the place. She was sent to St. Pete for Jen every summer break. It was more than just a family trip for Jen in St. Pete. It was her real home and the calmest place for her. She saw a different kind of magic at the beach than at Disney. It became her playground. By the ocean, she could feel the sand under her feet, take in the salty air, and enjoy the simple things in life. In her heart, the lively beach town had a special place. She always found her way back to its beaches, no matter where life took her. As the movie crew started to work, Jen was living in Houston, Texas, with her husband Bill Clean and their 2 kids, Will and Zoe. Even though Houston was an important part of her life, it was never really home like St. Pete was. It was eventually decided that she and her family would go back to Florida, which had always been her safe place. Now, St. Petersburg is more than just a place that makes her miss the past. In this place, she has decided to stay and make new memories with her family. It's clear from the fact that she calls it her happy place that she feels very connected to the area. There's something comfortable about the beach, the closeness to her family, or the sense of belonging she's always felt there that makes St. Pete an important part of Jen Arnold's identity. A question that a lot of reality TV fans have is whether the stars actually watch their own shows. Would they rather not watch their on-screen lives, or do they sit down in front of the TV and repeat their experiences? The answer is somewhere in the middle for Dr. Jen Arnold and her husband Bill Clean, who are the stars of The Little Couple. Bill told Glamour that they don't usually get a sneak peek of their shows before they air. "We don't usually watch The Little Couple until it airs, so we see it at the same time you guys do," he said. He said that this means we get to see the thrills, laughs, and sad moments live, just like Jen and Bill, who are fans. Some things are different, though. For instance, Jen is a neonatologist, and the show does sometimes have sensitive material about hospitals. She sometimes reads some parts ahead of time to make sure they are correct and protect privacy. So those sensitive hospital parts can be seen, but they're only small parts. Additionally, Bill said that they don't always watch every show religiously, but that doesn't mean they never watch it. They are not in a hurry to turn off a rerun of The Little Couple if they happen to see it while they are moving through the stations. Jen has actually said that she wants to watch older shows, especially ones from the beginning of the show. It would be interesting to see how we were together before Will. I have no idea what this morning was like anymore. Jen joked that her comment shows how much life has changed since the show started, especially since they adopted Will and Zoe. Being a parent has changed their lives, and watching those early shows could help them remember the good times they had before they had to deal with sleepless nights, picking up and dropping off kids at school, and endless parenting duties. There's no doubt that reality TV isn't always as natural and uninhibited as it seems. Many of the time, these shows try to capture real-life moments, but a lot of fans know that directors sometimes stage or change events to keep viewers interested. Reality TV isn't always what it seems to be. For example, scenes are often reshot to get the best angle, and cast members are often pushed to react in a certain way. This happens on all TV shows, even The Little Couple, which is known for showing Dr. Jen Arnold, Bill Clean, and their children in a loving and honest way. Jen herself has said that some parts of the show, especially the parties, aren't always as natural as they seem. In an interview with HuffPost, she said that the big events people see on TV, like birthday parties and wedding dinners, aren't always the big events that happen in their own homes. Sometimes they have dinners out with the cameras, which they try to tell each other don't really count. They also need to have a separate dinner to celebrate their birthdays and anniversaries. When they reach these goals, they make sure to have private, more intimate celebrations that aren't shown on TV. When you think about how a reality TV show is filmed, this discovery makes sense. When there are cameras around, a simple dinner out isn't just about enjoying the moment. It's also about making sure the lighting is right, that the microphones pick up every word, and sometimes even redoing exchanges to make them clearer or more logical. Even though the love and happiness behind these events are real, the fact that there is a film crew there changes the mood for fans who may feel let down by this information. There is a bright side, though. Twice as many parties mean twice as much fun and cake. People can see a bit of Jen and Bill's life on the little couple, but it's important to remember that they also get to spend time with their family without cameras around. Because they enjoy their birthdays and anniversaries separately, they can still have those private, special moments that aren't staged for TV. In a way, this mix between public and private life shows why people still love the little couple so much. Jen and Bill are honest and open about their lives, but they also know how important it is to set personal limits. They have a lot of fans because they are ready to share their story, but they are a family first, and it's just as important for them to make time for real moments off camera. Dr. Jen Arnold and her husband Bill Clean have one of the cutest love stories. Their story is full of strange encounters and missed chances that led to fate bringing them together in the end. Many fans of the little couple know that they met on a dating site for little people, but their story actually started in a very strange way many years before that. It wasn't a romantic dinner or a chance meeting at a coffee shop that they met for the first time. It happened while they were both very sick and young children being treated at the same hospital. Medical problems they both had put them in touch with each other without their knowing for a long time before they realized they were really linked. He remembers that when he walked into his room, he thought he was very cute. He shot him out of the room, and his mom shot him out of the room because he looked like he was going to throw up. In an interview with the Tampa Bay Times, Jen laughed as she talked about it. Bill still remembers that first meeting very clearly, even though it wasn't the most exciting. Jen makes fun of the fact that he was actually cruising the hall for chicks in his wheelchair, and she was one of them. Even though they met early on, they didn't keep in touch. They went their separate ways in life, following their own careers and goals. But fate had other ideas. After many years, they ran into each other again, but this time, at work. It turned out that they were both connected to Dr. Stephen Kopitz, a famous doctor. As an expert in spinal dysplasia, Dr. Kopitz has been very important in helping children who are short for their height. Jen and Bill were both patients whose lives he changed when they were in college. During a summer job, Bill had the chance to work with Dr. Kopitz, just 1 year after Jen had done the same thing. After a few years, when we were in college, he shadowed Dr. Kopitz the summer after I did the same thing. Dr. Kopitz, who had known both of them for years, told them they were supposed to be together. Jen Arnold and Bill Clean would be a great match. At the time, the doctor's nice idea that they spend time together didn't lead to anything romantic. Though years later, when both Jen and Bill started dating online, it was through a dating site just for little people that they really got back together. The way they were matched this time made it possible for them to really get to know each other. They quickly turned their online spark into something real, and soon they couldn't live without each other. Their love story, which began years ago in a hospital room, came full circle. These two have been together for a long time and have been through a lot together. They are one of the most popular reality TV pairs today. There is a special kind of fame that comes with being a reality TV star that makes fans feel very close to the people they watch on TV. This link is both touching and sometimes too much for the little couple's doctor, Jen Arnold and Bill Clean. The couple has seen for themselves over the years how much their fans love them. At times, they even go so far as to show up at their door. Their show has shown a lot of personal parts of their lives, from how they deal with health problems and being parents to their daily routines. Fans often think they know Jen and Bill very well. Most people show their admiration by sending them nice texts or interacting with them on social media. But some people go one step further and surprise the couple at home. People have been really nice, but sometimes when someone knocks on your door, you wonder if they really mean well. Could be that you get a little nervous. Jen told Glamour that it's one thing to be known in public, but it can be scary when strangers show up at your home, which is supposed to be your safe place. It makes sense that Jen and Bill would rather fans show their thanks in other ways. Of course, we'd rather they send us a letter. We clearly have our own time when we're at home. She said that a letter or message lets them interact with people on their own time without having to deal with the stress of an unannounced visitor. Really excited fans have gone the extra mile and even stopped by on Christmas Eve. Yes, Jen and Bill have had strangers ring their doorbell at one of the most private times of the year, while most people are with their families or close friends. This much praise shows how much people love them, but it also shows how hard it is to be a reality TV star. Even though Jen sometimes crosses the line, she is still understanding and caring. She knows that most of the fans are honest and just want to meet the people they've been watching on TV for years. She told them that everyone who has come to their door had good intentions. But there is a thin line between admiration and invasion of privacy, and she asks watchers to keep that line clear. Jen agrees that reality TV makes it hard to tell the difference between private and public life. Reality stars are different from other celebrities because they don't play roles. They are themselves on camera. This can make it even harder for fans to tell the difference between entertainment and real life. But I get it. People see us and think they know us. At the end, Jen said that she and Bill are very thankful for their friends and the love they get. They don't take it for granted that their show has affected a lot of people. But like everyone else, they value their privacy and hope that people will continue to support them in ways that don't invade their personal space. According to Dr. Jen Arnold, she didn't get involved with reality TV for the money or the fame. From the very beginning, The Little Couple wasn't just a show for fun. It was meant to make a difference. Jen knew that talking about her life on C-camera could help a lot of people, not just those with skeletal dysplasia. It could help anyone who is sick or has a disability. Since my goal is to bring attention to something, I use this stage whenever I can. In an interview with the Washington Post, Jen said that her reality TV show was never about trying to get famous. It had to do with using her voice to speak out. When she found out that Congress was thinking about making big cuts to Medicaid funds, this mission became even more important to her. Jen has been a neonatologist and needed expert medical care all her life, so she knew how terrible these cuts could be for people, especially kids. The Better Care Reconciliation Act, BC, was a bill that wanted to cut $43 billion from Medicaid spending. Instead of just voicing her worries from afar, she should have talked about how this move would unfairly affect kids with disabilities and long-term illnesses. Jen did something because she wanted to make a difference. She went to Washington, D.C. with her family to meet with politicians in person. Not just in theory, but from someone who had been through medical problems herself. She wanted them to understand what their choices would mean in real life. Jen talked about her worries about the BC. She said that it would cut $43 billion from Medicaid funding, which would hurt kids more than adults. She said that she knew these cuts weren't just numbers on a budget sheet, but were also about kids who relied on Medicaid for treatments, programs, and basic medical care that could save their lives. Jen's support wasn't just for work, it was also very important to her. She knew what it was like to have health problems as a child, have many surgeries, and need expert care without having enough money for it. Without enough money for Medicaid, it would be hard for families to give their kids the care they need, and many kids with serious illnesses could end up in terrible situations. It wasn't easy to get involved in politics, but Jen was determined to make a difference. Jen knew she would have to deal with lawmakers who backed the bill, and many of them had already made up their minds. That didn't stop her, though. She was set on getting them to change their minds. She said, "I guess I'll have to make them change their minds." Even though it was scary, Jen's work was part of a bigger movement of parents, doctors, and advocates who were fighting to keep Medicaid. She used her fame to teach people and call for action, hoping that it would encourage other people to speak out too. She wasn't just speaking out for herself or her kids. She was speaking out for all the families who would be hurt by these cuts, especially those who didn't have a national voice to be heard. For people who have watched The Little Couple for a long time, Dr. Jen Arnold is almost always thought of as a neonatologist. She is clearly very committed to her job and very good at what she does because she looks and acts like she loves what she does. She is an inspiration to people in the medical field because she knows a lot, cares about others, is patient, and is always working to improve newborn care. But Jen's plan to become a doctor wasn't always set in stone. At one point, she really thought about a completely different job, one that would have taken her far away from hospitals and into the ocean. In a talk with the Tampa Bay Times, she said, "I love medicine and I love science." He said, "But I almost became a marine biologist." Growing up in Florida, with all its beaches and oceans, it must have seemed like a logical choice. This is what she did for fun at the University of Miami, which is known for having great marine science programs. Jen really wanted to study sea life, but she ran into a very scary subject called physical chemistry that stopped her in her tracks. "When I got to the University of Miami, I learned about something called physical chemistry," she said with a laugh. "I asked myself, what am I thinking?" Even though she never took the feared course, she is thankful for the experience because it made her into the doctor she is now. The thought of it alone made her pause and rethink her career plans. Having that moment of doubt made her think about what really drove her. Did she really need to spend her days in a lab studying ocean ecosystems? Or was there something else that would have been a better fit for her? Jen quickly realized that even though she loved science, she wasn't really interested in the parts of marine biology that required a lot of study. She also learned that she didn't really like working in a lab and that she liked being around people more. She said that knowing herself better was important for figuring out what to do next. Even though she was still very interested in science, she now knew what she really loved. Jen changed her mind and now wants to become a doctor. She put in an application to medical school and started the path that would lead her to neonatology. She made this choice because it fit with her love of science and her desire to work closely with people, especially babies who needed special care. It wasn't just her love of science and health that led Dr. Jen Arnold to become a neonatologist. On top of that, the journey was full of difficulties, persistence, and a strong will to achieve. A lot of people know her today as a successful doctor, reality TV star, and devoted supporter. It wasn't easy for her to get into medical school. To begin, she didn't just go to any medical school. She went to Johns Hopkins University School of Medicine, which is one of the world's most famous schools. The U.S. News and World Report consistently ranks Johns Hopkins as one of the best medical schools. The school is known for turning out some of the smartest doctors in the world. Just the fact that Jen was accepted there shows how smart, hard-working, and capable she is. There were only 2 medical schools that even gave her a chance, though, which many people don't know. Even though she applied to more than 30 programs, only Johns Hopkins and the University of Pennsylvania invited her to meet. Jen Arnold, a small girl, recently talked to the Tampa Bay Times about her experiences with medical schools. She was honest about the fact that her interview at the University of Miami was only possible because she knew the head of the school. One question that comes to mind is, why did so many medical schools turn down such a strong and skilled applicant? In her personal statement, Dr. Arnold talked about her worries. She talked about how she had written on her application that she was small and had gotten good medical care. It was important to her to help kids, and she said she never knew for sure if that was why she wasn't getting any other interviews. It's hard to say for sure, though, that implicit bias wasn't a factor in the lack of replies she got at the time. Medical schools and the healthcare business as a whole weren't always used to teaching doctors who had disabilities or were short or tall. Some admissions boards may have wondered if Dr. Arnold, who was short, could physically handle the demands of being a doctor, even though he did very well in school and clearly loved medicine. Dr. Arnold didn't let the rejection define her. Instead, she focused on what was important. She showed how good she was by getting into Johns Hopkins, which she saw as proof of her skills. The school saw that she was smart, determined, and had the potential to make a big change in medicine. Once she was accepted, Dr. Arnold worked hard to do well in school and eventually became an expert in neonatology, seeing babies as the most vulnerable patients and wanting to help them the most. What do you think about the facts of Dr. Jen Arnold's story? Post your thoughts in the box below. We hope this video was helpful for you. If you liked the show, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Thanks for watching, and see you next time!